Hey, welcome back to the channel, everyone. So today we just had a big patch notes drop on the new 1.4.3 update that is coming on the 13th. We're going to talk about the permanent servers and how they will work. Also going into some Q&A that they did from a dev chat about it. We'll go over the new changes to the wish machine, which is pretty awesome. More info on how the harvesters market's actually going to work. We'll talk about the Lunar Oracle Phase 3, new hive feature, which is also awesome, and some more. So let's just jump right into it. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the permanent servers. So as of the 13th, all of these servers are going to be converted to non-shutdown servers. So essentially what that means is that the servers are going to go off for about 2 hours, and then when they come back on, they're going to be set to permanent status, and this will be for all servers going forward. Now, a permanent server basically is not going to kick you off after 6 weeks, so it'll still go through like the natural phases. If you still want to jump into like other servers, you can just as normal, but if you want to hang around and you want to stay on something permanent, you now have the ability. So as part of the dev chat, some people had some questions about it. So the first question was, what content updates will non-servers receive? They're worried about eventually becoming ghost servers, so they said any new content not tied to the opening of the new server will be applied to non-shutdown servers, including construction optimizations, including new building materials, components, changes, optimizations, any additions to the ranching and farming systems, weapon balance adjustments, new cosmetics and events, bug fixes and optimizations. Servers with the Visional Wheel tag are also going to receive Visional Wheel gameplay, and then future announcements are always going to specify whether the new content coming out will apply to the non-shutdown servers. So essentially, unless it's like a new scenario and it's like the new scenario is getting these new scenario specific features, chances are your permanent server is probably going to get those features as long as it goes to other, like, you know, things. So if you're on Manibus and something new comes out for Manibus, you're probably going to get it. But if you're playing, you know, Manibus and something new comes out for Prison versus Clash, obviously you're not going to get that. Now, this is the interesting part. It says to address server population concerns, they're going to merge non-shutdown servers of the same scenario into a single server, with each original server becoming a distinct world. And then in the future, they'll also merge worlds as necessary to maintain healthy player populations and a vibrant social experience. So I thought that was pretty cool. So essentially when they do start to merge all of these in, like, you know how you go to the teleporter and you've got like world 1 through 10? Well, each of those worlds will essentially have been another server that merged into it. So I thought that was a pretty cool thing to kind of stick along. Now it says, will worlds be merged on non-shutdown servers? If so, will it lead to territory issues? And they say the servers will not undergo world merging for 30 days from the non-shutdown process. So essentially, if you're in a server and you hit phase 6 of the settlement phase, whichever phase that is for your server, basically you start a 30-day countdown until you merge, because a lot of people are still going to go off and they're going to do other scenarios. But if you do want to stay, you can, and during that 30 days, usually the server will begin to like merge things down, you know, as people leave, so that to keep that server still going fresh. And then after the 30 days is up, it sounds like it's then going to get merged into one of the forever servers. So again, that's basically how it's going to work. You may or may not have to redo your territory, but they said if they do end up merging, you'll get like a heads up so that you know to go and change where your house is. Moving on, we have a new wish machine update. So this one's really cool. I hadn't heard about it until I read the patch notes, but basically the Echoes of the Rift prize pool, which is the random one. Usually I tell everybody, hey, make sure every time the wish machine changes over, go through and do all of those wish machines, because you get a ton of good blueprints and stuff. But I've always been one that was against doing the random one because there's no way to basically select. So There's Echoes of the Rift, where you would just go in, and when you gamble, essentially at the end, the guaranteed prize that you get could be whatever. So you could waste all of your Star Crumb on this. So what they're doing is they're going to add a new thing called Wish Stones, and you can redeem the Wish Stones with the Masuko marks, or you can acquire them through events. But essentially, you'll be able to use these Wish Stones to select what you want the grand prize to be, so that becomes the grand prize for Echoes of the Rift. And this allows you to target farm blueprints, so I thought that was a great change. Now they're also doing a normal update for the prize pool. We're going to get the 3 new ones like we do every couple weeks. So we're going to get the Pyroclasm Starter, the Doombringer, and then Fire Rune Boots with the Blackstone set, which is the temperature-based gear. I'm not really too excited for that, so I probably won't do it. The other 2 I will, just because I think you get a lot of good blueprints from it, and you can use it to level up, you know, the other things that you want. Next up, we have the Harvester's Market that they're adding. So this is really cool. I talked about it in a previous video, but essentially they're going to get rid of all the vehicles that are in all of the towns, and they're moving to a spot where we basically have a market. Now they're in different locations depending on if you're in Way of the Winter, obviously, and Manibus, but essentially you're going to have a section where you can go in there, and there'll be a new solar panel vending machine formula, which they're adding. And then that solar power vending machine can only be built in designated areas of the Harvester's Market. So each player is basically going to have one spot, and I believe you're going to be able to put a lot more stuff in this than you could in the previous ones. So this will be great for anybody looking to get into the market. I think it's going to make it a lot better, a lot easier to roam around. I would imagine there's going to be a teleporter there so you can jump back and forth, but it basically centralizes everything. It's going to reduce a lot of the lag. You're not going to have cars and trucks all over. I do still want to know what we can do as far as dressing up the area that we put our stuff in to kind of make it stand out. Once it actually comes out, I'll do another video basically on vending machines and setting it up so I can help you stand out. So make sure that you're subbed to the channel and you have the notification bell on so that you get that video once it comes out. Next, they added a new menu. It's called Stardust Chronicles. Basically, it shows you different locations like settlements, crisis events, merchants. This is essentially for new players, like if they want to come in and get an idea of what's going on in the server, it'll show them exactly where those things are. We have the new event. So phase 3, which is the final phase of the Lunar Oracle, is coming out. And again, I've touched on this in a previous video, but essentially we're getting new deviants, and they're known as Lunarspawns. And essentially these deviants are going to mimic us metas, and if they kill you, they will absorb your appearance as well as all of your abilities. So they're going to be able to use, you know, your weapons and your gear and, you know, your deviations, and they're going to be really powerful. So I think this is going to be cool. And then there's going to be a server-wide event that's basically going on as players on the server kill these. It's going to build up, and then that's basically how we're going to get all of the different themed rewards for the Lunar Oracle. So once the Lunar Oracle is over, we'll move on to a different visional wheel, which we don't really have any data on for now. But one of the cool things we're going to get is those eyes that we get when the Lunar Oracle goes and you gain the lunacy. That'll become something that you can earn permanently. There's a new shop arrival, and of course it wouldn't be an update without new loot crates. So we have one called Youthful Glory that's coming, and then one cool thing is they're going to add a new furniture set, which is like a gym theme, and it comes with workout equipment and gym wallpapers and prints. So I thought that was pretty cool. Moving on, we have the Hive system changes. So there's 2 things here. One, they give you the ability to make your hive private, so it can't be searched. So that's, you know, okay. But the biggest change, and this is something that I love, and I don't know why it took so long to get here, but they're going to give us the ability for hive members to invite people instead of having to rely on the hive leader. So this has been a pain in the butt, I know, for me, where I'll go to invite somebody, and if I'm not the hive leader, I don't have the ability, and then they got to wait until they're both logged on at the same time, or put in an application. It could take a while. So this is something that's really cool. Essentially, in the settings, you'll be able to set it up to give people access to be able to invite, almost like having officers. And I would like for them to continue to dive more into the Hive system. They've already increased the number to 16 on Manibus, which I think is a great change. They're adding this with permissions, which I think is a great change. So I think we'll probably see a lot more features coming to the Hive system in the future. So I like that. They updated the Journey system UI, so this is going to look a lot like the scenario changes that we had recently. There's new deviation changes, so they added a bunch of new ways that you can obtain deviations. I'll have a link down in the description below where you can go and check it out, because they'll have a list of all the deviations and where you can get it. But just to give you an example, like they've had a few that have been added to vendors, like you can now go and buy an electric eel from the fishing trader, things like that. Speaking of fishing, they added a new toggle to toggle on and off the slow motion camera. So, I mean, that's a nice little quality of life. There's some vehicle changes that they've done. So large vehicles can no longer park in player strongholds. You can't park in any trading zones with any vehicles, and vehicles can no longer be summoned inside of strongholds. I'm not sure how happy I am with that, because it's going to be annoying having to, like when you go to Blackfell and then having to run out without being able to put down your motorcycle to at least drive a little bit faster. I basically hate anywhere where you can't, go a little bit faster. But so that's gone away. So what they're going to do is, if you have an item in any of these areas, once you get out of them, you have 15 seconds before it despawns. So they've just like super increased the speed in which it despawns. They also fixed it so vehicles can cross railroads more smoothly. I don't know if you've ever been driving and then you go over a railroad and boom, your car just nails it. So I think that's good. Again, another change where it's like, how did it go for so long? Other changes, there's a new guidance for mimics to make it easier to find. So you have a butterfly that kind of flies towards it. They've also changed all the references from season to scenario. I think there was a lot of confusion with people not understanding how the seasons worked. So now they just, gave up on the whole season wording. And they just went with scenarios. So now you'll be like, join a new scenario or this, where it would say like normally you would join a new season. So they've done away with that. So that'll make everybody happy. Again, I'm probably going to do a video showing off a bunch of this stuff once the patch goes live. So again, make sure that you're subbed and you have the bell clicked so that you can get updates. And I'll basically go through and, show you all of this new cool stuff. But that's it for today. Let me know down in the comments how excited you are for all this stuff. Like, what's your favorite change? Remember, the 27th are the big changes. I think all this stuff is pretty good, but the 27th is definitely going to be really awesome. So thanks all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.